Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hello, friend.
Hello.
Hello.
That's a weird
Hello.
hello. I'm sorry.
No, I liked it.
Hello.
I liked it. Very little personality. I mean, you
Yeah.
have personality, but it's
Thank you.
extra personality. As always, I'm joined by you, my fabulous co-host, Kate Citrus. Hello, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And today, Kate and I have the pleasure of being joined by a CCA student, a copywriter, and all-around fantastic person, Holly Seibert. Hello, Holly.
Hello.
Oh, thank you for joining us today.
Of course, I'm very excited. And as I said in the beginning, I'm still starstruck to be here. You guys have been following you for like 2 years. So,
Thank you. I am
yeah.
flattered and will tell my mother. This kind of stuff matters to mothers, yes. And to me too, of course. But Holly, we have had the opportunity to read through your story and, of course, get to know you in the community. But the best place to start is always at the beginning. What is your background? And then how did you get into copywriting?
Sure. So, my background, I was a marketing major in college. But that being said, the beginning of my career was actually spent in human resources. I was in talent acquisition, which, I mean, really, when that comes down to it, it's a sales position. So, I had experience, talking, cold calling, employer branding. I was a corporate recruiter as well. So I had exposure to marketing and branding. But then during COVID, I actually was laid off due to
Oh,
a bankruptcy. And I found the best job in 2020. It was a remote role. I actually was in customer success. So I'm going to kind of pick it up from my customer success job, but I was there for about 3 years. Fantastic team, loved my work. It was work-life balance was just on point. Turnover was like nothing. I mean, they were doing all the right things, but as we know, things, don't always last forever. They were acquired and I was laid off again. Our whole team was let go.
wow.
And I remember like almost mourning of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I am ever going to find something that checked all those boxes and, really brought not only professional satisfaction, but just me as a person and a mom and a wife and a family member and as a friend. That's, really important to me. A few months went by, I did find another customer success role. This was for a conversation for another day. This was not my previous job. It was a lot. It was, for context, a very tiny tech startup. Lovely people. I mean, very intense. Wasn't quite customer success centric. A lot of like support, which is amazing. People who do support, like, cheers to them. That is not for me. And I mean, very long hours, poor work-life balance, micromanagement, and just, like I said, the people are just so lovely, but it was like, oh man, I can't go on like this. And as I feel like everyone on this podcast, they say, I got served a Facebook ad, and that's what happened.
Thank you, Meta.
I got Yes, thank you, Meta. They know. Oh, they know. And I got served a Facebook ad, and I knew what copywriting was with my experience with retail and corporate, but I never thought of like, oh, people just do copywriting. Like this is a job. And so, of course, the ad follows you, and then you start getting served other ads. And I'm like, oh man, I was like, okay, I should look into this. And I didn't pull the trigger right away. I was like, no, I got to do my research. And I'm, deep into Reddit forums, and people are like, buy these books. You can do it for free. They're just out to get your money. And I'm like, so I actually did. And that being said, there's some great resources out
Yeah.
there. But to do it on your own is I was just that was not for me. And so after probably about 2 months of research, I did get the course. That was like end of 2023. And it was great. I had a goal to finish it by the end of the year, and I did. And so I was like, all right, January 2024, let's go. We're gonna we're going to try this out. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got started with the CCO.
I love
That's
it.
great.
It just made me think of the going at a low point. I was just listening to a book and it was saying I got to find out where the stat is so I can fact check it and attribute it. But it said you're 7 times more likely to succeed at whatever it is you want to do if you're doing it with like a community element. If there's support, if there's people, if there's, so yeah, get the going it alone. Yeah, you certainly can.
Yeah.
But
That's
man,
And it was great
Yeah.
because my like Pitchapalooza was going to kind of kick everything off, and it did. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling. What was starting, 2024 Pitchapalooza, and I'm still working, my long hour,
Yeah.
job. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
ooh, dig into that for us. The working the long hours of the job, but also learning. Because a lot of people are in that
Yeah,
boat. So
Mhm.
I know. To me, it was do something every day, something to move that needle. Sometimes I had the opportunity where I was like eating my lunch and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like write something, for my website. And I was spending maybe 1 to 2 hours if I got lucky. There's days where I was like, choosing the background like color on my thing. I was like, okay, well, this will work. But I was like, it's something. And I'm one of those people that if I did it wrong, I failed. Like, no, you can't do that. I did something, towards that goal. And I was setting kind of short-term goals. So actually kind of once I got my website set up, that was say like January. So I was working 9 to 5 or 8:30 to, I don't know, long time. I was work and then I was doing a little bit at night, a little bit in the morning, what I could over lunch. And the website to me was number one, getting that portfolio, working through the action sheets. And then I was like, I just need to go for this. And so what actually I did was I pitched my boss, who's the CEO of the company, and I was like, hey, you should, I think it was like an email funnel or like I was like pitching these things to him because I'm like, well, they know me. And so I'm like, this will be good practice. And that is actually how I kind of like started to take on more marketing projects and copywriting projects. When I still kind of had to do my customer success job, but I was still doing a little bit more, but I didn't care at the time because I was getting that experience. And that was a really great, I don't want to say safe way. I don't think that's the right word, but I was able to still be in my full-time job, get the experience and work towards my goal, which was full-time freelancing. So,
I love
I love
that.
it. What was your boss's reaction when you said, "Hey, I could do this for you"?
yeah, so it was I brought it up kind of like, hey, it's basically not on the house, but free it startup life. And it was like, okay, yeah, well, let's give it a shot, and got all my other stuff done. And so I think it actually started with I think it was social media actually. And writing some things. And then what did I do? We had an affiliate program and I was writing really like engagement. I'm going to call them like engagement newsletters
Yeah.
for affiliates and talking to them about, new feature releases. And from there, it was eventually he not fired, but let go the marketing agency that was running his social, and it became mine.
Look at
And I'm
that.
by the way, still doing my other job. And you know what? It was great. I did not think that I wanted to get into like just doing social captions, but it was really great practice. And because of what I learned in the courses and the pitching and the mindset and the confidence in going in, I was able to kind of be like, yeah, I got it. And then I'm like, I got it. Yeah, yeah, I can do this. And so because it was really the skills that I learned in those courses to get me to, be able to do that and pitch that. And so, yeah, I did that for a couple months. And then I was really like, I can't, these long hours and the balancing between the two, you do too much at once. That's not productive. And so I drafted up a proposal for essentially a marketing slash copywriting position for the company. I'm going to be honest, it was not accepted. And they were like, well, I guess you don't want to do your other job. This is what you want to do. And so it was decided that maybe this isn't the right fit for you. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? And then they're like, well, you know what? Hold on. Okay. Would you be willing to stay on and do, it was like social media and like 2 other things? I mean, income wise, like a fraction of what I was making. But I was like, is this the kick in the butt that I need to, get moving with the freelancing? And I also didn't mention that during this time, I was also pitching. And my first pitch I ever sent out turned into a 4-figure project. And so I have this, okay, I don't know if this is the right fit for you. And then it's, hey, you know what? Could you stay on and just do this little bit? And then I'm like, oh, well, I have this other client's website. And I'm like, okay, universe, I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting you're helping me here.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so it was like that. And all through the fall, so right now we're in the summer, like fall, I was just busy, and I got a huge website project. That one was through a job posting, but the company I pitched, they came back to me, and then I had another project, and it really took me until, December through the end of the year. And it was just like, to me, it was that confidence push, like you got this. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up to where, I am now.
That's terrific. It's so funny, isn't it? It's when a company says, well, we think maybe this isn't the role for you. You already know that, right? Like, you're like, I'm already secretly thinking this isn't the role for me. But then when they say, oh, this isn't the role for you, it's like, yeah, but wait a second, wait a second.
But I have bills. Wait, I
Yeah.
have a mortgage, like,
Yeah.
but it's like, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And, yeah, they were willing to, they didn't accept my initial proposal. They, took only a fraction of it.
Good for you for
Yeah.
putting it. Yeah.
That's what it was, is you guys harp so much on taking action and like sitting there being like, oh, woe is me. And I'm like, I can't ask for permission. There's no, like, I just need to do it. And so I did. And it turned out okay. So
Badass is how it turns
Yeah.
out. If we're allowed to say that.
Beat
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's terrific. Well, and I was curious about what your boss said, because I think that sometimes people think like, oh, I could do this for my company now, but like, I don't want to bother my boss. I don't want to. But effectively, what you're coming in and saying is like, hey, I see an opportunity that I could help you guys. Let me help you. And of
Yeah.
course, any boss is going to say, well, all right, let's see, because you're unproven in that area. You're very proven in your customer service position, but not in the copy and content area. But when you come in offering a solution, it's like, all right, it's that much easier for them to say, okay, let's give this a try. So it's
Yeah.
a smart place to start, close to home, so to speak.
Yeah. And I think, especially, like I said, I wasn't a tech startup. I know if you are like a giant corporate entity, maybe it might not have been, I don't know. Maybe there is still a small opportunity where you can be like, hey, I'm getting all my work done, and it's just a little, just let me, could I do this for you? Could I give it a shot? So
Exactly. It's always worth asking, right? Like, hey, I can be helpful to you. Sure, they might say like, oh, no, we have we have different plans for that. But if you can be helpful, it's always worth asking.
Yeah.
If it's a good company, I feel like it's like we want to keep our employees happy, engaged, whatever. If this is a way to keep you in some capacity, then it's like, all right, let's figure out how we can make it work.
It's like, and you know us, our company,
Yes.
that back end stuff that's, another freelancer or agency that we might bring in. They have to learn all that, but you're as an employee, or you're already in that role of knowing that back end and the kind of unwritten things about a company. So.
Yeah. Well, and especially in tech, and then also in customer service, you know how to explain it to someone. Whereas when they bring in someone from the outside, it would take forever for them to, maybe not forever, but take a while to get that person up to speed. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So I'm curious in terms of were you when you proposed this and they let you take on the social, were you still working in the customer success role? Are you still doing it a
Yeah.
little bit now? Where
Yeah.
does that stand?
No, so I am actually like no longer, I am truly just a contractor for them. And they
Cool.
actually just brought me on so it was just social. And then as of January, I'm actually doing content for them.
Cool.
I kind of went exploring and was like, copy. And I'm like, oh, let's learn a little bit about, this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, no. And I think just being in the marketing world but to me, anyone can learn it. The information is out there, to kind of learn these supplementary things out there. And you don't have to be an expert in things, but just getting exposure and understanding. And yeah, so I'm actually going to be doing their content as well. But I am truly a freelancer now with a quote, and I send my retainer invoice every month. Then I'm like, you going to pay that? Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
then,
fantastic.
yeah, I've just had, other clients, here and there, with project-based work.
Mhm.
So I've gotten a lot of really great exposure to some really fun projects.
That's cool.
Can you share any just the types of projects and some of the things that you've been doing and kind of what
Yeah.
you've chosen to
So I know you guys give such great examples about, not choosing a niche, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand all of that. And I kind of have gone that direction. And so other projects, I've worked on like a full website rewrite, and it was actually in the pet care industry. I'm a huge dog lover. So I was just like like fangirling this client. I'm like, I just love dogs. I love this project. And she's like, Okay, well, thank you. You're doing a great job." So a lot of stuff in the events industry. I've done some, social, additional blog writing, which I know is content, but what else have a few email sequences that I have done. And so I've really had this broad exposure to doing projects. And you guys recently did, or I don't even know what a course or podcast about, I think you used like a plumber example of like, being like, you should be able to do all the things with writing and being able to offer that, that full service to your client. And so I've really been open, to doing all of that. So I've really enjoyed the variety that I've got to work with and the different industries that I've had a chance to work with.
Cool.
So fun.
Yeah, I think it was to give you credit, Nikki, brilliant metaphor. The plumber, like you're not gonna have a plumber come in and
Yeah.
fix your kitchen sink, and then he's
Uh,
like, "No, sorry, I can't fix
Yeah.
your bathroom toilet. I
uh,
specialize in
Yeah.
kitchen sinks." Yeah,
mm.
genius.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
Genius.
Wow.
It stuck.
Okay.
So it was like,
Good. So glad. So your last position was long hours, good people, but long hours, a lot of micromanaging. And, like, what does your work life look like now? Hey there, it's Nikki. I wanted to take a very quick minute to make sure that you knew about our free on-demand copywriting training. Now, whether you are brand new to copywriting or you've been doing it for a while, but you just can't seem to hit those income goals, this training is for you. You are going to learn the 3 secrets to landing freelance copywriting work without relying on frustrating job bidding sites like Upwork or Fiverr, or without cold calling strangers. And if you've watched any of the student success stories on this channel, and if you haven't yet, check them out. This is the exact same training that they all started with. And I mean students like Kate K, who is making 6 figures working part-time and retired her husband to help her build her business. Students like Stuart, who replaced his full-time salary, which was a good one, with his freelance income and then some. Stacy, who hit 6 figures in her first 6 months as a freelance copywriter, and Ashley, who landed the in-house copywriting job of her dreams. They all started with this free training, and you can start with this free training too. So sign up right now at freecopywritingtraining.com.
yeah. So I do have 2 elementary aged kids. So I try to get a majority of my stuff done by 3:00.
Mhm.
Doesn't always happen, but yeah, my day to day now, I have to keep a schedule. If I'm just like, I'm gonna dilly dally, like, no, I can't. I come down to work just as I did for the past how many years, and I still I'm a very big like day planner person. So I write down what I'm doing that day. But I usually try to get started around like 9:30. Then yeah, I have a schedule. I do use, I found for myself that I'm like, I gotta do this, this, and this, and this, and this. But using, I know we talk a lot about AI, but I'm like, please help me. And they're
Yeah.
like, do this from this to this. It's like,
Heck
I
yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
truly an assistant. And I
Yeah.
get so much done. Because I'm not sitting there worrying about it all. It's like the robot is just telling me what I need to
Yeah.
do. And so that's been very helpful. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I need to get up and eat lunch. That's fine. Someone has an appointment. Great. Take the dog on a walk. I can breathe. I can eat. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have to get over my, like, oh, I didn't get that done today. I failed. This is all going to crash and burn, because that's how I feel like I fight that off a lot. But it's like, they're just like, hey, it's fine. And the robot, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll just move in here. And so that's really kept me organized. But yeah, I have to have a schedule. Still come like I'm working my remote job, because if I don't, and if I don't come to my office and I'm like on the kitchen table, like that doesn't work for me. I know it works for some people, but it needs to be at my desk. So
Isn't it interesting to just kind of discover like what you get a chance to experiment and go, yeah, okay, nope, that's not it. That's not where I'm productive, or or like, oh yes, this is my sweet spot. It's so fascinating to be able to learn that about ourselves.
yeah, and I feel that I'm fortunate. I did work in a remote job. I mean, I've been remote for about 5 years now, so
Mhm.
I kind of knew about remote life, and like if you don't do this, you're gonna go crazy. So I feel fortunate that I had that tweaked out, but the nobody telling me what to do, that is new. Like that is
It's a double-edged sword though. Like you said,
it is.
there's that element of like, I didn't do all of this massive amount of stuff that I want to do. I think as overachievers, which I'm going to go ahead and guess that you are, it can be challenging to, when you own your own business, and which you do as a freelancer, to want to be doing all the things and completing all the things, and it feels like you're not doing enough if your to-do list goes to the next day, but there's always more to do than there's possibly time or energy to do or to
Yeah.
get done. So yeah, there's always more.
Yeah. I always tell myself, I'm like, if I can think of one win, or one, even if it's really small, like, oh, I got that email out to that designer that wanted to know if I had referral fees. I I did that. It and sometimes it's more than one win. But to me, I'm like, if I can at least list my accomplishments, I feel good. So
I love that. Well, and clearly that's served you well throughout your career, because that's how you approached learning and building your career, and now it's how you approach going through your career. Do you have any sense of how you learned that, or where you picked that up?
I don't know. Probably a combination of my experience, what I learned. What I love about the course is, I mean, so much of it is mindset. Yeah, you learn how to write, but so much is mindset, and that is like invaluable. Like I could not imagine trying to do this on my own without having all that mindset coaching, because that was half the battle. And so I think it's just a combination of experience and working in different environments throughout my career, and then just having formal training, about it. So
That makes a lot of sense. No, it's just a good for you, because it takes a
yeah,
lot of people a lot. I mean, and I think that's something I'm still learning already on a regular basis. But
Well, I feel, yeah, the mindset stuff is ongoing. I feel like
mm,
ongoing work for sure.
yeah,
Started
and
listening to
what,
certain audiobooks as like hype
yeah.
music to like get me in the
Or I mean, and even sometimes you guys, like, even just, I think it was last month, I was just like, I don't know if this is for me, those moments. And you like
did you
release
need a
the
vacation?
I maybe, but you guys did a podcast on like what to do when you're feeling down about
oh
your
good.
business.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
was truly like, how do they know? Like, and it makes you feel less alone, and like what you're feeling is normal, and kind of things to think about to get you through those obstacles and those challenges and those hard times, because they do pass. And so,
Yeah, they do.
That's a great
It's
point. Yeah, I feel like we can feel very like this feels uncomfortable or off. I've never felt this before because I've never run a business before. So like is this normal? And I think what you just said makes great sense of like, oh no, I'm not the only one going through this. And I don't know about you. I don't have many other besides the CCA community. So I have a lot of friends, I guess, in the freelancing world. But outside of
12,000
that,
plus.
yeah. But outside of that, I think it would be very easy for me to be like questioning things.
Yeah, or like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. This,
Right.
you know what? I tried it. It didn't work. But it's like, no, there's nothing, you can do it too. There's nothing special, which I know, Nikki, you say that all the time. Like, there's nothing special. Like, truly, it's just, you just have to work through it and adjust that mindset and keep moving. And that's been really invaluable advice to me.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah, it's funny how we do that as humans, right? We catastrophize. We're in a down moment. We might have had a great day yesterday, but we have a down day and we go, or maybe a couple of down days, and we go, oh no, this is it. The good
I
times
know.
are over. Never gonna get better again. This is awful.
Fun.
This is the end of it. All the good stuff is over now. But we all do it. And if we ride the waves and if we take care of ourselves when we're in that kind of downtime or stress time or anxious time, if we take care of ourselves through it, we'll get to the next day where we're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm feeling better. I think I can do this.
Yes.
So funny.
Yes.
So funny. Yeah.
Peaks and valleys. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We just forget that they exist.
Do you have any advice to people? Because I think, hearing, especially at the beginning of your story, of just how quickly you took action, do you have advice for people that maybe are resistant to do, like, oh, I don't feel like I have the confidence yet, or I don't feel like I have the, what tips would you give?
So, I mean, I'm going to be fully transparent. When I was like, okay, I built this little website, did this course, like I've cold called in my life. I've had lunch with like clients I've never met, and you got to make small talk and conversation. Like, I have been in like new situations, but when it is you and there is no company to hide behind, that is a whole new level of terrifying that was not expecting. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I did the website, and then I was like, okay, but you built this website so people can see it. And like, I think it's what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen. You just have to do, and maybe it's okay, you publish the website. And then maybe the next day, I remember in the fall, I did put out like something on LinkedIn, like, hey, like this is what I'm doing now. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why? What are they're just scrolling their LinkedIn feeds, drinking coffee. Like, no one's coming. I don't know. It's so silly. And I did not post on LinkedIn forever. Like, I was just so scared. And then I'm like, why am I scared? You are going to be in the same spot if you don't do something. And so, yeah, sometimes it's like, yeah, I would send out 5 pitches and I was like, yes, that's awesome. But it took a while to get there. And I think how I did start within my own company, that was like a baby step to really announcing my business and being like, oh, what do you do? And you're like, I'm a copywriter. And just say, like, the first time you say it and you're like, no, this is what I do now. And just kind of telling yourself that, like, nothing bad. It just go for it. Hit
Mhm.
send, hit publish. If you need to take baby steps, or I remember the one time I wrote my pitch and I couldn't hit send, so I like schedule sent it for like 8:30 the next day because I'm like, I'll be busy. And so I was able to walk away being like, oh, okay. And it sent enough, like, it was great. I think they actually replied, like, why didn't I do this sooner? So
Yeah, the world didn't
That's-
end.
the world didn't
Yeah.
end. The earth is still spinning. And it's like, move the needle as much or as little as is what you need to do, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And so, but if you're just gonna sit there and like do it and then be like, okay, well, I don't know. Like, that's not fun. You joined this course for a reason. Just go for it. Just do
I
it.
love it.
Well,
And I wish I did it sooner. Is so true. How many like I always think like I don't have regrets in my life by any means, but if anything comes close, it's I should have just done it
Mhm.
sooner.
Yeah.
I spent too much, honestly, the regret spending too much time worrying leading up to the thing
Yeah.
versus the thing. It's not the thing. It's
Yeah.
all of that time just like,
And I actually listened to this podcast and I would skip through all the success stories of like the students. And they were always in this like upper echelon of like of humans. And I was like, oh my God, throughout the podcast, like how and they one thing, they all have different stories. Some it's income, some
yeah.
it's like
Yep.
complete career change. But they all took action, and some it was super drastic, and some they inched their way up and took baby steps, but they all took action. And so I'm like, that's what I need to do. I got to do it. So,
Good for you.
Good for you for
Well,
doing it. Yeah.
and
And thank you for sharing all that too,
yeah,
because I feel like it's hard to like when you said, it's so silly, but it's so human, everything that, you're
oh,
describing.
yeah.
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 And I'm never concerned when we talk to students and they say, "Oh, I'm nervous about this." I would be concerned if they weren't nervous, right? When you're nervous, it means that it matters to you. Maybe
Mhm.
I wouldn't be concerned if they weren't nervous, but when we're nervous about something, it's because it matters. Like it matters to us, and that's where we want to be, because this is our career, and this is writing, and writing matters so much to so many of us. But to your point, there's a place to say, okay, I'm nervous, and I'm nervous because this matters to me. And then to take that action anyway, to say, I'm nervous about this, but I'm going to set that aside. And because it matters so much, I'm nervous because it matters to me, but I'm going to take action because it matters to me too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And kind of expanding that discomfort bubble. Like it's gonna, you gotta feel something. You gotta be a little nervous, but then that bubble is bigger and it just goes from there. So I have felt that the past couple months. Like,
Yeah. There's a lot of growth really quickly,
yes.
and that's a question. How do you feel about pitching now? And not that it has to be perfect or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. So I feel that I do need to also, I'm all about transparency, is that I did not pitch in December because holidays,
Mhm.
children, things, all the
Life.
things. And I'm sitting in January, I was like, well, they were right. Here I am. And so I was like on a self-imposed 30-day like marketing push, inbound, outbound. And I no pitching now, it does not. I've gotten so much quicker with getting those out. And to me, I always start with the pitching because even it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then I like reward myself by, I don't know, writing a blog post for my website or like scheduling something that's just more of like that inbound marketing awareness. And so that's like my win, but I have to do the pitches first, and then that's my reward is to doing
I
some of the
love that
fun
your
stuff.
reward isn't like chocolate. Your word, you're like, I write a blog for my, it's still marketing. But I love it.
Well,
Go
and
for it.
now, so my thing, like the logo, like you guys like you don't need a logo, but like the logo was so fun for me. So like that was my reward.
Yep.
Like do
There
this
you go.
course,
That's
Yeah.
good.
and
Yes.
I'm gonna play around with logos
There
and
you
stuff.
go.
Yeah.
That's a great way of doing it. I agree. Secretly, sometimes my team laughs or the team laughs because sometimes I go rogue and go on Canva and like design Facebook ads, but
Yeah.
it can be kind of a nice way to give yourself a little bit of
Yeah.
a break from the writing and do something different with your brain. And you didn't go down a rabbit hole and spend days and days and days on
No.
your logo. You used it as a
Nope.
treat. I love that.
I
Yeah.
love it
Yeah. It
too.
was for fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very smart. Very smart.
I'm with you though too. The content writing is like, it's like a treat. I'm like, okay, get out because it's so much easier. I don't know about you, like it's just so much easier because
Mhm.
there's more space. There's less, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and like the SEO stuff, like that, like that's like fun to me. It is like you
Mm-hmm.
said, it's like a treat of something, something else to do to switch it up. So
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Oh, fantastic. So we've talked about kind of advice for students or advice for people getting started. But is there anything that we haven't asked you that you want to make sure that you share as you think back to when you were getting started, or you see people in the group who are just getting started? Is there anything that you want to be like, okay, guys, I need to tell you this?
I think that definitely I have seen so many cool paths of people who have
Mm.
completed this course, and it's different for everyone. I know there's been people that are like, I know that I could never be a freelancer, and I knew that I needed to find a job I was different. I mean, I was laid off twice through no fault of my own, through an organizational change. And I was like, ugh, I'd rather be in control. And so I truly wanted to embrace everything I could learn about freelancing. And then I love learning the stories of people that learn copywriting, and it launched them into another career. And that is just that there is no right answer. There's no like, you were going to be a successful freelancer and make 6 figures. It's like people do that, and that's awesome. I love to hear those stories. But it's just like everyone is so different. And the career path that this course can put you on is that, it's just so valuable when you guys are always updating stuff, and between the podcast and the blog post, the course, it's truly like I'm so glad that I made that yes, add to cart purchase. So because it really was life changing. And I don't think I ever would have had, I never would have had the confidence to get where I am now if I wouldn't have done this course. And so, and you guys too, like you're so like you're real people. You're out there like giving people the valuable information that they need. It's not all like flashy smoke and mirrors. You're genuine, like we want to help you. And that's just that's so great. And I'm just best purchase ever. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. That's very
Yeah.
kind.
Oh,
Very,
yes.
very kind.
Thank you so much. Well, this has been super fun to sit down and chat with
Yeah.
you and hear share your story. If someone's listening and they're like, Holly's amazing, I would love to hire her. Where can people find you?
Sure. So my website is Holly Seibert. That's SEYB as in boy, ERT copy.com. And then I'm also on LinkedIn, Holly Seibert. I'm a big LinkedIn person.
Good for you.
So you can find me on there too.
Awesome. And we'll put those links in the show notes so people
Yeah.
people can grab them there. Awesome. Well, Holly, thank you so much for chatting with us today. This was so much fun.
Yeah, no, this is a pleasure. Thank you guys for everything. Really enjoyed this conversation too. So
Thank you.
great
Us too.
meeting you.
Yeah, that was so fun. Fun finally meet face to face. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so with that, we will catch you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.